is a big thing to consider if you want to be a model or if you can be a model. And the reason I say that is because it fluctuates a lot. It depends on how much you apply yourself from a business standpoint and how much your cost of living is every month based on the type of lifestyle you choose or where it is that you live. So if you have problems managing money, you're gonna really struggle, because a lot of the times the way this job works is the agency, typically in the industry, the norm is they can have up to 90 days for that client that hired you through your agency to pay the invoice. Do they all wait that long? No, but a majority of them can be a month to 2 months or longer before I even see any of the money. So you have to really budget it, because you're not shooting every day. I mean, some models are, if you're just crushing it with like a certain client that's shooting e-commerce and they have tons of clothing all day long. Those instances do happen, but often or not, I mean more often than not, majority of the year I'm shooting like once or twice a week, and that's pretty good, surprisingly. So I take each quarter, and if I have a big surge of jobs and all this money comes in all of a sudden, I still have to taper back and have the self, discipline to not go and overspend, because I might have a super dry following quarter. So that's just something to consider. And do models make a ton of money? Oftentimes not as much as you think. That's exactly why I immediately from the start took a business approach, and I thought about how can I be full-time and really crush it. And that's by signing with multiple agencies, and there's a lot of other things that I do all year on, behind, making videos and whatnot that go into the process of becoming more visible. And I talk a lot about that in my book, both ebooks. And there's a strategy that you can do so where you can have a really respectable and great income, and it can be an awesome, lucrative job. But it's not that easy. So if you're jumping into it thinking you're going to book these huge campaigns with Coach and whoever and have tons of money, it might not go that way. So you have to be prepared for that. You have to put in the time early on to take a big pay cut, most likely, until you get industry recognition. You can sign with more agencies. But if you're really passionate about it and you really want to get after it and you really believe in yourself, and people in your life prior have mentioned to you, have you ever considered modeling? That's a good sign, if you heard that a few times from people, and you should maybe give it a shot and see what you can do. Again, I'm here to help answer questions. I can't get to everything, but I will try. All right, what is next? Okay, number 6. This is one of the toughest parts of the job, in my opinion, and not that many people can handle it, and that is, can you handle the rejection and have the resilience to rise above it each and every year? Always having to prove yourself, just to oftentimes get let down. Although friends of mine in the industry may look at me and be like, oh, you're killing it, you're doing so well, this and that. In my mind, it's not that simple, and they know it as well, but it's a certain amount of rejections just to get that one job that, like, you'd be surprised. I've been turned down by 8 different agencies over the last couple quarters, and all the castings I go to all year, I'm not booking all those. It's just not how it works, and it's not necessarily because I'm lacking so much. Most likely it's usually because a certain casting director sees the next guy come in and he's just exactly what they had in their mind, or maybe production just decides they want to go with someone with more olive skin, or they have like green eyes, or you just don't know what it is. So you can't let it get to you too much. Even with that said, the rejection part of it is part of the job. They see either beautiful people or really fit people all year long. You're expendable, and you are basically a human prop to some degree, and they have to be okay with that. Does that mean you shouldn't have any self-respect and you should just put up with whatever? No, I think that you should assert yourself and demand some a level of respect and value yourself. But at the same time, you do have to be prepared for the amount of rejection, because you will just get so close to booking a job that's going to be so good for you, such a big campaign, and you're right there, and you've done so many self-tape submissions, you've driven to so many in person, you've bought clothes for the audition just to get this, and then you find out at the last second, your agency calls you and you've been released, and that is really hard to take, but it is part of the job, and you have to be prepared for it. and you just have to rise above, have thick skin, and realize, I didn't get that one, but maybe the next one. Just keep doing it, keep going. It's just the way the job goes. Okay, moving right along. Number 7, confidence and attitude. These are huge, okay? I didn't have that all figured out early on. That's just normal, right? But you build your way up, you get a little more confident with each shoot, but you have to practice a lot, and you have to make shoots come out of thin air if you don't have them, so that you can refine yourself as a model or actor. With test shoots, like I said, you gotta be good about networking. So confidence is so big, because when you go to a casting or an audition, they're seeing 200 plus models sometimes. You go in a sign-in sheet, they bring you in, and you just have hardly any information usually, even from your agency, because they're given very little from the client, because they don't want it to come out what the next commercial might be, or the premise or whatever. And you go in there, and the casting director might be rude that day, or he might not. It's not necessarily a casting director always, but it's the guy that's just kind of working the camera sometimes. And he might be impatient, and in those moments where you just have like 2 seconds to slate your name, which is like, hi, I'm Weston Boucher, and you just, that's it, you know? And then you give profiles, and you know, you look camera, you go here, and you do a 360 or something. Are you willing to shave? Yeah, sure, no problem. Let's see your hands, blah, 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 and you walk out. Like, it could be that quick oftentimes. And in that moment, the second you say, hi, I'm Weston Boucher, like, you have to, your name obviously, but you have to exude confidence or have some sort of charisma or connect in that really small amount of time, and you can't seem timid and unsure of yourself and just like a really mousy voice, real quiet, like, hi. It's not gonna work. Like, you need to have a presence. So work on that. Do self-taping with your iPhone on a tripod, watch it back, do some mock auditions, mock castings, where you go through a scenario or something. Like, you know, there's so many things that they're gonna be thrown at you last second, and you just have to roll with it. You have to be relaxed in front of camera. It takes time. I still get nervous. It's totally normal, but you will get better at it. I loathed it early on, and some of the castings I still do. I'm like, oh, that did not go good, and I hate the feeling of feeling stupid, but you're not perfect, and you just gotta keep trying, and you gotta have a, you know, a humility to not be too proud, to just deal with it, you know, you're only gonna get better. So confidence again, and attitude is very important, because attitude is what they pick up on, right? While you're on camera to some degree. There's gonna be either a certain air about you they're gonna pick up on, or charisma. And when you're on set, do they wanna work with you? Because the guys that come in, I'm looking at them while I'm in the waiting room, I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy looks really perfect for this description of this role. Like, man, this is tough, this is stacked odds. These guys better looking than me, like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this. These are thoughts that I still have when I see them. But I know at the end of the day, like, most people choose the people that they like their energy and their vibe, and they want to work with them. So be easy to work with, be friendly, be outgoing, don't be obnoxious about it or disingenuous, but it's super important. Don't just be like really sterile and dry and Mr. Professional only. Like, it's very important to come off as a professional, but throw in your personality when you can. It goes a long way. All right, number 8. Are you able to be business-minded, or are you more someone who's just seeking validation and attention all day long, and that's why this career might be attractive to you? Those are big distinctions, because again, if it is a part of it where you just like the flashy idea of it, and you like you identify with the narcissistic qualities that can come with it, it's going to be a big wake-up call, and you're going to be humbled many, many times, like I said, with the rejection stuff and whatnot. And you can't think, you know, too highly of yourself in that regard, because there's so much competition, and again, you are expendable, and they will book someone else. There's just other people, plain and simple. So you have to take on a business approach. In my ebook, How to Become a Male Model, the Ultimate Cheat Guide, I go in depth about so much about how to have a strategy in place so you can actually have a career, because otherwise it will be feast or famine, because you're leaving your odds and your chances, you know, hanging in the balance with whatever happens with one agency. You're just signed with them, Or, you know, what are you doing outside of that to hustle and to get noticed and to get more work? How much are you actually networking, and how can you network off of the jobs you already had, and how can you network with social media to really be able to book and book and book? And that's what I'm talking about. You have to think of yourself as a business entity, that you're marketing yourself. You have to create a personal brand, and you have to create a site, and you have to do a lot of things that are going to give you more notoriety, credibility right off the bat when people have that first impression of you. This industry, they have such short attention spans because they don't have that much time to work with. Projects come together really quick, and so it's super important that you aren't just looking for that validation and, again, attention on either social media to look like a model or whatever it might be, the reasons that some people have, because that's going to get shut down real quick. They don't think you're that great, honestly. That's how they look at me as well, and I just accept that because, again, I know that I'm expendable to other people. Only I can do me, and I have, that is my power. And if it's not right for their project, that's okay, you know, like maybe the other guy is okay, but I'll book something eventually. So I just got to make sure that I'm visible. So again, yeah, that's a big one, to be business minded.